This is my truck possibles pouch. I keep this in the armrest of my truck just in case some stuff were to go down. Now, the Max Edition beefy and fatty pouches have been two of my favorites for keeping just an abundance of stuff that I may need at any given time. Very well made, and I like the fact it has this little front pocket. Up here, I do keep a Nicor, a battery bank. This is the MB 10,000 Gen 3. They just came out with Gen 4. And the thing about this, I think I own 7 altogether, these different battery banks, 7 of these altogether, along with these little rolling square in charge cables. These things can do about 65 watts when it comes to just being able to handle, um, charging different devices or whatever. I just need to have the ability with this little 22.5 watt output to charge devices, iPad minis, all that type of stuff. And you have the loop panel up here. You can put whatever patch that you want to. It makes life easier as well. The back of this does have the Molly strips, and you would have to buy your own straps if you want to attach this to something. I really wouldn't attach this to anything because it opens like a book. Doesn't really open up kind of like a clamshell forward towards you. But once you get inside this thing, you can see it has just tons of room for whatever items that you may want to put inside. I love how this thing is featured. I'm going to tell you the category of items I keep in here. I'll tell you the specific items I have, but you can replace these or use them as you see fit because you don't have to do it exactly the same way. Just you can kind of see the easy layout of this entire pouch. Love how it's kind of easy to just see everything that you need. And because it's Max Expedition, it can fold back on itself. And that's how we're going to look at these items. All right. So first thing on this side, I do keep this little Work Pro mini water pump pliers. So Work Pro sent these out to me. I've noticed that these things come in handy. They almost feel like just that little tool that you didn't know that you needed until you pull it out and begin to use it every now and again. Really, really easy, functional to use, quick adjustment here. So they're almost like a tongue and groove type of plier, small, but they have a crazy wide mouth to be small. Like I think this is almost getting you 3 inches of diameter right here to be such a small set of pliers. So good to have these just in case you need those. It has a little holder down here if you wanted to put a ring on there. I wouldn't do anything like that. So behind that is a Bradford Guardian. Now these Bradford Guardian, this one particularly is the 3.5. I like Bradford Guardian knives. They're made in America. They're made of great blades. So this one specifically is made of M390 blade steel. I like to be able to just have it just in case you need it. A full tang knife is just good for survival purposes. These G10 scales are well made. Look at this freaking grip on this. Just nice finger guard, which allows for you to really get up on the knife, jipping on the back of the scales of the knife. And so, or the back of the spine of the knife makes it just easy to keep your finger from slipping up the back of the blade. Very, very well made, good Kydex sheath. Bradford is just one of those companies that quietly makes quality products that you don't even really think that you need until you get your hands on one. I also like the pricing of these because you can get them anywhere between like 150 to 300, depending on exactly how you get them. If it's M390 or Magna Cut or whatever you decide to do, it kind of works out for you. You want to get yourself a multi-tool. This one just happens to be the MP600 by Gerber. This is a made in America multi-tool by Gerber, which a lot of them aren't anymore nowadays. So it's kind of nice to just for them to stick to their roots. But I like this because it does have the capable pliers. They are more needle nose type. That's why I have the Work Pro pliers in here to go along with them. This has wire cutters, crimpers, all built in there. The cutters are not replaceable. Mine are pretty gunked up from use over the years. That's one wish that I had on this particular MP600. I think they do have newer models where you can replace the wire cutters, but these are not. But C4 punch, which I would never use, but this just happens to be the type of version that I have. You can also have a ruler on the side. So just in case you want to be able to take quick measurements of something, just a really good multi-tool. It's one of those old school multi-tools that, although you don't really think about it a ton, it just has features on it that were kind of like slowly but surely we saw Leatherman implement and we see other tools implement. a T-shank adapter on here. You can load different saws in here, or you can put a serrated blade in here, whatever you want to do. Those are replaceable. I like that. You have a wood and metal file in here. You have a bottle cap lifter, as well as a can opener. And next to that is a slotted screwdriver or pry bar, whatever the heck you want to use that for. The other side, and this is why I like this tool so much, it doesn't have a bit driver, but most likely whatever you use this for, it's going to be you're going to be able to find the tool that you need. Most of the time all you need is either a slotted screwdriver or a Phillips, and this has a built-in Phillips, and this has a built-in knife. And then you can also use this like key ring back here if you want to as well. What I like about this so much, and why I prefer to keep it, is that if I'm going to be using this for a prolonged amount of time, this is the only multi-tool that I have that actually allows for me to, when using the tool completely closed, to actually support whatever tool element I'm using. So I just exposed the blade. I could literally keep my finger on the blade of this MP600. I like the fact that they make the tool elements built that way. And when you slide the pliers back into the tool, it makes it feel rock solid. Like it almost feels like a full tang knife. It's not, obviously, but that's just how like well built it is. So if you're using something, one thing that I can say, if you're using a lot, if you're, say for instance, you're using the file, it locks in place. And while you're using it, for whatever reason, your hand is up on it. It's just a lot easier to use this. So if you're using this on an item, so like the item stagnant on a vise or something like that, it's way easier to control it. That's why I like the MP600 so much. First experience with this was in Afghanistan, and I've loved these things ever since I've gotten my hands on them the first time. Definitely would say pick those up if you ever get an opportunity. Next to that is an Olight Seeker 4 Pro. Olight sent this to me. This is actually the second model they sent to me. When the first one came out, I kind of was like, I poo-pooed it a little bit, mainly because before that, I did have just other models from them, specifically the Javelot. And the Javelot just had more of a spot beam that I really, really liked. I've really gotten to know this flashlight more. I love this rotating dial right here to turn the lumens up and down. I love how easy it is to use. I love what, even like without this funky zombie colorway, which was a release for in October of 2025. I just like the functionality of this. I don't like the proprietary battery. This is rocking a 21700 battery, but Olight's proprietary battery, which tells the rear of the battery to talk to the front element to turn the flashlight on. If you try to put another 21700 battery in here, it will not work. Still really good though. High lumen output, great strong magnetic base, unlike the Javelot, which I used primarily over this one. I do keep the MCC charger in here because just in case that battery's dead, I don't necessarily want to keep an additional battery in here. So I keep the charger here, and I would just use my truck to charge this, or that battery bank that we mentioned earlier to charge the flashlight. Also back here, there is a field book and some zip ties. Okay. So just in case I want to take notes, or if I need zip ties for anything, zip ties come in handy on a vehicle more often than you could imagine. Something comes loose underneath the in the engine well of your truck. A zip tie may be something you can use to give you an additional 40-mile drive home if you need it. A built-in keeper here, just in case you want to put something in that pocket and have it accessible. I'm not using it that way, but it's nice to have. And then as we look in the middle here, we do have some cordage here. Now you can put 550 cord, you can put nylon cord, you can put maybe a 90-pound test cord, whatever you want to do. This isn't really 550 test. I do have 550 cord throughout in other parts of my truck. This is a little bit thinner, which is really good for like fixing backpack straps, tying stuff that my kids may have broken or whatever. I like this more thin cord. It still has the ability to be taken apart if you want to use it in an emergency situation, but it's a little bit thinner than 550 cord, and you can still use this in a pinch, and it fits perfectly right here in this middle part. That way, if I want to just pull some out, I can, and continue to just have it just in case I want to make those type of repairs. Now, one thing I will say, guys, listen, I know you're probably going to be wearing a smartwatch, and your possible pouch is going to be something that's going to help you out a lot. If your smartwatch goes dead, or if you're in an emergency situation, we got to talk about today's video sponsor, which is Veer and their S5 Tactical Field Watch. This one is the little brother to the C5 Tactical and the A5 Tactical. One thing I like about this, similar to the Calendar White watch, it's a little bit smaller than this 42 millimeter watch. This is 40 millimeters, but it's easy to see, easy to read in the reserve time on the battery on this bad boy. Crazy good, this quartz movement. And it's going to be very, very, very fortunate if you're able to grab this out and use this for finding south. Imagine you're stuck somewhere, you're not sure which way is south, your car is completely dead, you can't use the compass built in your vehicle, and the sun is still out. You can use a watch like this to figure out which way is south and begin to find your journey home for a get home watch. Or if your watch dies, your smartwatch, which I don't want you wearing nonetheless, you still have an elegant watch that you can put on and use nonetheless. Although this thing is so fairly priced, you still get 2 watch straps. Very easy to read dial, still God tier lume. You get a flat sapphire crystal glass. It's just a very, in a lockdown screw down crown. All of this stuff is real feature rich. Big old fan of this watch. I'm very impressed at the price point they were able to get this at. Although I would say that this could be a watch you could wear in the field or to work or on night out on the town. And I definitely would recommend, if you don't want to wear it on your wrist, which I think you should because it looks good, at least keep it a part of your possibles pouch so you can use it in an emergency pinch. I think it's going to be very, very beneficial. Shout out to Veer for sponsoring today's video. Listen, also a signal mirror. You find yourself in a situation, your vehicle breaks down, whatever. It's just nice to have a signal mirror that whatever you do, just get a signal mirror where you can bring your eye up to the mirror and look through it and use that to peer through that. Okay, so peer through the viewfinder, and that way you can search for rescuers. The sun will reflect off of this, and it could be seen for like miles and miles and miles. If you buy one that doesn't have the relief hole, it's going to be really hard for you to point this towards the direction of people you see coming and keeping it parallel to the horizon, because obviously it's not towards your eye. It also has built-in cordage, so you can untie this and wear it around your neck if you want to. So that way you can quickly bring it up to your eye. So along with your survival watch, you can also put an actual compass in here as well. So just make sure you get yourself a compass. Now, you don't have to get a lismatic compass. You don't have to get anything like that. You can get just a nice basic compass. Just ensure that whatever you do, you just get a compass that you have at the ready, just in case you want to be able to use that. This also has the ability to bring it up to your eye, bring it up to your cheek rather, so you can shoot an azimuth if you know how to do that. If you don't know how to do that, at a minimum, it's still going to give you the ability to find north, south, east, and west. And you can still use this for an advanced navigation if you know how to shoot an azimuth. And even if you take a break in the middle of the night, go to sleep, learn a little bit of basic land nav, you can use this to continue walking the exact path that you were walking beforehand, which is much handier than just knowing which way is north or south. Here I keep a dango. This is a dango, like a keychain holder. This is to hold this entire pouch. So my plan is, if need be, I would actually take this strap right here and loop this through. And then if I want to tie this entire thing to a backpack, I have a very well built-in strap, and I can just zip it up to this point and keep it tied to a backpack. That way I don't have to keep digging it out of a bag. Or I can tie it to this strap. I'm going to use this though, because I like how this doesn't leave any wiggle room for the holder to move around. Unlike this could move it around a little bit. Plus, I don't really want fabric on fabric right here. I would prefer the plastic. So this is also 550 cord. So in a pinch, you got about, I would say, it looks to be at least 7, maybe. It could be about 7 feet of 550 cord in here that's braided. You can unravel it, use it if you wanted to. Very well made. And so you can keep that to hold this entire pouch if you wanted to carry this on a pack or whatever. So a Bic lighter, very simple, very long lasting for versus a Zippo. Love my Zippos with a butane insert, but even the best butane insert will evaporate. This Bic lighter can probably sit in here for years and be just fine. Next to that, I keep some duct tape along with that zip tie. Duct tape is really, really good for fixing something on a vehicle coming loose, fixing something inside of a house or whatever. Some fireproof matches. So, waterproof matches rather. So these are stormproof matches with the striker inside. So I can use these just in case the Bic is dead and I need to start a fire for whatever reason, maybe in the cab of my vehicle. Maybe not the most prudent thing to do, but if you crack a window and you have like a 4 hour, a 96 hour emergency candle in there or whatever. We also have a ferro rod and striker in here. So just redundancies when it comes to the ability to start a fire. You can unravel this a little bit more, give you a little bit more relief room for this striker and strike this if you need to start a fire. So I like the redundancies. You guys may notice this is a possibles pouch. Some of this stuff can be given away to people as well. So if I gave somebody some stormproof matches or gave someone the big lighter, so what? I'll replace it. I still have a redundancy. It's all good in the hood. It's also nice to have just a nice little pocket sharpener in here. This is a work sharp sharpener. The only thing I will say about this, I mostly only use a ceramic rod side. I don't remember the grit on here. I think it's 600. It's something I don't really want to expose my knife to without having the ability to go finer. But having this here to just touch up the a knife is really, really good. Okay, in an emergency, if I was using it long term, yes, I could begin to try to sharpen this along maybe with some stones that I find and then finish it off with the ceramic rod or some leather if I'm wearing a leather belt to strop it. But just nice to have this, easy to use. You just kind of hold it in your hand, you get your knife, you start it off at the angle side and you just push away from yourself, and easy to kind of give your knife another edge just in case you need it in an emergency situation. So, and also it's relatively affordable if you get the pocket one versus the guided field sharpening, which costs a little bit more. There's a pocket back here. It's kind of hard to see, but there is a pocket back here. And in here, I keep a rescue blanket, which is good for the possibility of give it to somebody if there's like a car accident or something like that, or give it to a loved one. Now in here as well, there's some survival cards that come from Essie. So Rander Eventual Company, they give you a couple of survival cards to just keep in here just in case you can't remember how to do shit, how to use signal tape. There's another signal mirror in here just in case you want to use it. It's just not as reflective or as good as the first one, but redundancies, how to apply camouflage, stuff like that. And then we also have a Silcock key. So I can tap into a building. I always normally have my Grail water bottle with me. So with the Grail water bottle, this will still normally get rid of the toxins and filter any of that water. But if I want to tap into the side of a building, this is good for doing that. So this is going to work if you're walking by a Walmart, if you're walking by a grocery store. You can't just turn on their water hoses normally. Their water spouts that are hanging outside of the building, you normally have to use this. And although this does give you a little bit of leverage, it's nice to have those Work Pro pliers in here to give you a little bit more leverage, because sometimes those things could be rusted shut if they haven't been turned on in years. And if they haven't been turned on in years, you're going to want a water filtration bottle to make sure that you're keeping yourself relatively safe with that water that may be coming out of there for the first time in a very long time. Possibles pouch, okay? Keep this in your vehicle. This is not something that you're going to be really busting open every single day. I do have medical pouches and ouchie boo-boos and all pouches and stuff like that. This is just something that when shit goes left, goes awry, or you find yourself in a sticky situation, you're ready, because anything is possible. First time stopping by, hit the subscribe button. I would love to have you a part of the battalion. If this is not your first time stopping by, well, thank you once again for watching me run my grape. For everyone else, we'll speak soon.